Have you ever wondered why, as we age, the people around us can sometimes feel like a heavy burden? Have you found yourself asking, why do certain relationships drain my energy instead of uplifting me? If you're over 60, this video is for you. Today, we're diving deep into the kinds of people you should avoid in your later years, those who can suck the life out of you, leaving you stressed, exhausted, and unhappy. Stick with me until the end, because I'll be sharing eye-opening insights about how to protect your energy, safeguard your happiness, and ensure that your remaining years are filled with the joy, peace, and freedom you deserve. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what types of people to avoid, how to set healthy boundaries, and how to make sure you're living life on your terms, not anyone else's. So, whether you're already dealing with energy vampires or simply want to ensure you're making the most of your time, this video will give you the tools to reclaim your life. Let's get started and take control of your future. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Let's take a moment to reflect on one of the most toxic and dangerous types of people that seniors often encounter, the constant complainer. Do you know someone like this in your life? These are the individuals who have a unique talent for finding problems in every little thing. The weather isn't perfect, the pension is never enough, the kids are always misbehaving, and no matter how hard you try, it seems like there's always something wrong. The moment you wake up in the morning, they're already ready to unload their complaints onto you, flooding your mind with negativity. It's exhausting, isn't it? People like this are not just annoying, they are dangerous to be around. Complaining, in its toxic form, is like a relentless virus that slowly creeps into your mind, infecting every thought. Over time, you begin to view the world through their distorted lens. Everything is wrong, everyone is to blame, and life just isn't fair. But deep down, we know that's not the reality, don't we? Life is full of opportunities, even after reaching the age of 60. There is still so much beauty, joy, and potential out there for us to discover. If you truly want to protect your peace of mind and preserve the joy in your heart, you must distance yourself from those who see the world as nothing more than a series of gloomy gray skies. Take a moment and think about it. How often do you find yourself surrounded by complaints? And more importantly, how do you feel after engaging with these people? Are you left feeling drained, downhearted, or simply frustrated? Maybe it's time to not only tidy up the space around you but also reevaluate the company you keep. Let's face it, if we can identify the complainers in our lives, we can also start to make better choices about who we let in. And while we're on the subject of toxic people, let's move on to another category that's particularly harmful to seniors, the so-called energy vampires. Now, who are these energy vampires, you may wonder? No, they aren't literal vampires who drink your blood, though there are times when it certainly feels that way, doesn't it? These individuals don't suck your blood, but they do drain your energy and vitality in the most insidious way imaginable. It's almost as if they have a hidden agenda, a subtle mission to empty your emotional tank. And they do it so quietly, so sneakily, that you don't even realize it's happening until you're left feeling completely exhausted. Here's an example I want to share. Imagine a neighbor who comes over to visit with a cheerful smile on their face, bringing you homemade pies, asking how you're doing, and for a moment, it all seems so pleasant. But then, without warning, it begins. Oh, everything in my life is so terrible. I just don't have enough. How do you even manage to cope with the challenges of old age? Suddenly, what started as a friendly visit turned into an emotional drain. An hour later, you're left feeling depleted, but you never once raised your voice or made a complaint. It's as if they've sucked the life out of you without you even realizing it. I've experienced something similar in my own life. A dear friend of mine, let's call her Maria, lived with her daughter. Her daughter was a wonderful girl, always loving and kind, But as soon as something went wrong in her life, she'd turn to her mom for support. At first, Maria was more than happy to listen and offer advice. But over time, her daughter's problems seemed to invade every corner of their home. She'd come in and pour out her frustrations about her boyfriend, her boss, and everything else that was going wrong in her life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Maria would listen and try her best to help, but after years of this, she felt like she was drowning in her daughter's problems. It became hard for her to differentiate where her own life ended and her daughter's struggles began. And here's the point I'm making. Don't allow yourself to live with people who constantly pull you into their chaos. You have your own life to live, your worries to manage, and most importantly, your health to take care of. Once you reach your 60s, every additional burden, whether emotional, mental, or physical, can be costly. It's okay to say, "I need some space," or "This is your problem to solve, not mine." In fact, after 60, it becomes more important than ever to protect your peace. The people around you should bring joy, understanding, and a sense of balance to your life, not add stress and negativity. So, take a step back and assess. Are the people in your life lifting you, or are they constantly draining you? The truth is, it's never too late to create boundaries that nurture your well-being and help you live the best life you deserve. Buddhism teaches us that each individual is responsible for their karma, and that includes the lessons and challenges life throws our way. If we constantly step in to fix the problems of others, we not only rob them of the opportunity to learn from their mistakes, but we also carry their emotional burdens on our shoulders. We end up taking on someone else's karma, absorbing their negativity and struggles. But here's the thing. Life is too precious and fleeting to carry the weight of other people's problems. Why should you spend your limited time and energy trying to solve someone else's issues when your own life deserves your focus and love? It's so important to remember that your happiness is your responsibility, not the responsibility of those around you. Now, let me ask you something. Do you know people in your life who just seem to drain the energy out of you? They take without asking, and yet they don't even realize what they're doing to you. If you know who I'm talking about, maybe it's time to take a step back. The truth is that each of us has a finite amount of energy to give, and when we allow others to drain us, we can end up feeling empty, confused, or even lost. We don't have to say yes to every demand on our time and emotions. We need to ask ourselves, what am I giving away, and am I giving too much of myself to the wrong people? I'm so grateful that you're still here. I feel like we're connecting, and that gives me hope. It means my words are resonating with you in a meaningful way. So let's continue this conversation, shall we? We've already touched on the topic of complainers and energy vampires, but today, I want to talk about another type of person you need to be wary of, especially as we age, and that's the controller. I'm sure you've encountered people like this, whether it's a well-meaning relative, an old friend, or someone in your circle who just feels it's their job to tell you how to live your life. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're in your 60s, and you've worked tirelessly for years. You've raised children and dealt with the struggles of life, and now, you finally feel like you've earned the right to enjoy your time. Yet, someone, maybe a well-intentioned relative or an old friend, suddenly starts telling you how to live your life. You shouldn't go out so much, you're getting up there in age. Why would you want to take up a new hobby? You're too old for that, aren't you? And don't even think about dating. What are you thinking? Oh, let me tell you, this is the kind of thing that just breaks my heart. Why? Because it's a reminder that there are people who don't respect the autonomy and joy we deserve in our later years. But here's the hard truth. People like this need to be gently but firmly bypassed. You are the only one who gets to decide how you live your life. Your journey is yours alone, and no one, no matter how much they care about you, has the right to impose their fears or limitations on your happiness. The world has changed, you've earned your place in it, and you have every right to embrace it fully, on your terms. Buddhism teaches us a profound lesson here. Let go of attachment to approval, and you will find true freedom. It's a message that carries weight, especially as we age. We no longer need to seek validation from others. What others think of your choices is none of your business, as long as those choices bring you peace, joy, and fulfillment. But sometimes, people who want to control us aren't necessarily doing it out of malice. They act out of fear. It's their unresolved fears that push them to try and control their lives, often because they are scared that they might one day face the same fate. Getting older, being alone, with no real plan for the future. Their fears are not yours to carry. I think about someone I once knew, who had a son who constantly controlled her every move. She dreamed of traveling with her friends, seeing the world, making memories that would last a lifetime. But every time she mentioned it, he would say, "Mom, it's not safe for you. You might fall, get sick, and what will I do then?" And so, she stayed at home, living in fear of what he might think, rather than embracing the adventure that was waiting for her. I can't help but feel for her, because she had so much to give to the world, and yet she let his fears dictate her life. She stayed home, missing out on the richness life had to offer. So here's what I want to say to you. Your life is a masterpiece, crafted by you, with your hopes, your dreams, your joys, and yes, even your sorrows. It is your work of art. No one else has the right to critique it or tell you how to live it. You have earned the freedom to decide for yourself. If someone can't respect that, then it's time to gently release them from your life. Let them live their life, and let you live yours. You deserve it. And remember this. No one can live your life for you, and the only person who can determine your happiness is you. Don't let anyone take that power away. Think about it deeply for a moment. Are there people in your life, people you know intimately, who are attempting to control you or limit your personal growth in ways that hold you back from experiencing the fullness of your life? What have they caused you to miss out on? Dreams, adventures, new opportunities, or maybe even moments of peace and joy? It's time to ask yourself, are you truly being treated with the respect and autonomy you deserve, or are you being tethered to others' expectations and demands? It may be time, no, it's crucial, to set boundaries with these individuals. Respectfully, yes, but firmly. You don't have to tolerate anyone's interference in your life any longer, especially when it comes at the expense of your happiness, peace of mind, and personal growth. Now, let's talk about something that strikes a chord with so many of us. Grown children. There's no denying the love we feel for them. Our hearts swell with pride when we see them grow, but let's be real. There are moments when living with adult children, especially after reaching 60, becomes more than just a challenge. It feels like a burden. I know many of you reading this are probably nodding in agreement because, let's face it, so many of us over 60 have at least one grown child who, despite their age, still can't seem to break free from the emotional umbilical cord. But the truth is, sometimes, having them in your home, depending on you for support in ways they should have outgrown, can feel devastating. And it's heartbreaking to even admit it. I know many of you have probably wondered why, after all the years of raising them, teaching them to be independent, letting them make their own mistakes, and guiding them toward building their futures, some adult children still act as though they're helpless and dependent. It's as though all that effort, all those sacrifices, were in vain. How many of you have experienced the frustration of seeing your grown child, now in their 30s or even 40s, still treating you as if you owe them something? Mom, can you cook me something to eat? Dad, I'm short on money. Can you help? How can you leave me like this? These requests may seem harmless at first, but soon, you realize they're becoming an anchor, an emotional weight that holds you back from moving forward, from enjoying your own life, from doing the things you've always wanted to do. And here's the worst part. They do all of this under the guise of love. They manipulate your emotions by reminding you of your role as a parent. You're my mother/father. How can you say no to your child? And suddenly, you feel like the foundation of your convictions is starting to crack. How could you say no? After all, they are your children. Even if they're 40 or 50 years old, the pull of parental love feels like an invisible force that compels you to continue giving, continue sacrificing, and continue putting their needs before your own. But here's the raw truth that so many never dare to say. Every time you enable this kind of behavior by constantly rescuing your adult children, you're not only denying them the chance to grow and find their way in life, but you're also robbing yourself of the right to truly live your own life. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a concept called role attachment. It's when we become so consumed by the roles we play, whether as parents, spouses, or caretakers, that we lose sight of who we are as individuals. Yes, you are a mom, a dad, a husband, or a wife, but you are also an individual with your dreams, desires, needs, and right to happiness. You deserve to live for yourself, not just for the role you fulfill in someone else's life. I think back to a story I once heard about a woman named Natalia, who was in her 60s. She spent most of her life giving to her son, who, by the time he was 40, was still unable to secure stable employment. He lived in her home, didn't contribute financially, didn't help with household chores, and constantly asked for money. Natalia used to tell me, "How could I possibly kick him out? He's my son." But one day, Natalia became seriously ill and had to travel to another city for medical treatment. Her son didn't even offer to help. He didn't take care of the house. He simply carried on with his life as if nothing had changed. And that's when the painful truth hit her like a ton of bricks. She realized that, in her attempts to help him, she had sacrificed not only her well-being but her very life. All those years of supporting him, coddling him, and enabling his dependence had come at the expense of her happiness, health, and future. It was a crushing revelation, but it was the breaking point she needed to finally see that continuing this cycle wasn't just harming her, it was damaging him, too. This is why it's so vital to recognize when you're being manipulated or when your kindness is being taken for granted. You are worthy of living a life that is full of joy, peace, and self-discovery. You have the right to let go of roles that no longer serve you, and you deserve to embrace the freedom to live life on your terms. It's time to stop sacrificing yourself for others at your own expense. You've done enough. Now, it's your turn to thrive. And now, here's a question that might hit a little too close to home. Do you have adult children who live off you, who constantly take from you without giving anything in return? Do you find yourself unknowingly letting them use you, and before you even realize it, the very essence of your life starts to slowly drain away? It can be heartbreaking to acknowledge, but sometimes the very people you've dedicated your life to, your children, are the ones who can unknowingly destroy your peace. It's tough to face, but I believe it might be time for an honest, no-holds-barred conversation with them. It's time to set some boundaries. You are not obligated to be their endless pillar of support, no matter how much love you have to give. You deserve respect and, most importantly, you deserve your own life back. It's crucial to remember that there is a point when we, as parents, must step back and allow our children to take responsibility for their own lives. You are not their lifelong caretaker. Now, let's dive into a topic that stirs so many emotions. Lovers. Lovers. A subject that can be both exhilarating and terrifying, can't it? I know many of you are probably wondering when I'll broach this delicate topic, and here we are. We live in a world that too often tells us that intimacy fades as we get older, but I'll tell you this right now. Intimacy doesn't have to end after 60. Not at all. It can flourish in new and unexpected ways if we let it. The reality is that many of us still have that fire inside of us. The longing, the passion, the desire for something more than just an emotional connection. But here's the catch. As we age, we must be extra careful with whom we choose to bring that fire into our lives. Life with lovers at an older age can be just as tricky, if not more so, than when we were younger. In our youth, we may have thrown caution to the wind, but as we grow wiser, we also understand that passion must be balanced with respect, understanding, and freedom. Too many people mistakenly believe that age means we should be free of those fiery emotions. But let's face it, many of us still crave intimacy, and that's perfectly natural. But ask yourself, is that fire worth igniting if it could end up consuming your peace? Now, Let's talk about the reality of these relationships. Who are older people typically drawn to? More often than not, it's someone they know, someone from their past, or, as is increasingly common, someone younger. And that's where the complications often arise. As we grow older, we gain wisdom, and we learn that healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect, patience, and a sense of freedom. Yet, many younger lovers, especially those who are much younger than us, don't always understand the delicate balance we need in relationships. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. Let's call her Galina. Galina, in her 60s, fell deeply in love with a man 20 years younger than her. He was young, vibrant, and full of energy, which was magnetic to her. They started living together, and in the beginning, everything seemed perfect. She felt rejuvenated and young again, and even started living a more active lifestyle as if she had turned back time. But as the relationship progressed, the dynamics shifted. The young man, whom she had once adored, began demanding more of her time, more of her energy, and more of her resources. Suddenly, she was no longer his lover. She was his caretaker. He needed her to look after him, to cook for him, to support him financially, as if she were his mother, not his partner. The passion that had once been so electric began to fade, replaced by frustration and resentment. She found herself completely drained, not just physically, but emotionally too. The spark that once ignited their connection had burned out, leaving nothing but complaints and irritation. It became crystal clear to her that, living with a lover after 60, it's not about the fiery passion. It's about respect, balance, and emotional freedom. When those core elements are missing, no amount of physical attraction can save the relationship. Sometimes, it's better to maintain a long-distance relationship where you can share the warmth of your connection without losing yourself in the process. But let's not limit ourselves to just younger lovers. There's also the complexity of relationships with people your age or even older. Here's the thing. Many older individuals seek companionship out of the fear of loneliness. But fear is never a good foundation for any relationship. Fear of being alone can drive people into unhealthy situations. Ask yourself, why are you seeking a companion? Is it because you genuinely want to share your life with someone, or is it because you're afraid of being alone? And if you are already in a relationship, do you feel respected and free, or do you feel like your life is weighed down by the burden of that connection? Relationships, no matter your age, should lift you, not pull you down. They should be based on mutual respect, freedom, and the shared desire to grow together, not out of fear of what you might lose. As you reflect on this, remember that you deserve more than just companionship for the sake of not being alone. You deserve a relationship that enhances your life, that fills you with joy and peace, not one that drains your energy and spirit. Love is about balance, not dependence. Don't settle for less, no matter how old you are. Let's dive into an important topic for men over 60. How to truly live as a man in this stage of life and, more crucially, who you should avoid living with. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. At my age, does it matter who I live with as long as it feels comfortable and cozy? But the truth is, my friends, not everyone who enters your life, especially some women you might meet after becoming single, will bring value or peace to your soul. Some can drain you, and that's something no man, particularly after 60, should tolerate. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Let's start with what I call the caregiver type of woman. These women often appear in your life at a time when you're feeling your most vulnerable. Maybe you've just been through a divorce, lost a beloved spouse, or perhaps, like many men after 60, you're simply feeling the weight of loneliness. And right when you're feeling this emptiness, a woman enters the scene, offering care, attention, and an apparent willingness to support you. You might think, what's wrong with that? Who wouldn't want someone to look after them? But beware, my friend, there's often more beneath the surface. At first, everything may seem wonderful. She cooks your meals, asks how you're doing, and even offers to help fix things around the house. It all feels like genuine care, right? But as time goes on, you start to notice subtle shifts. Suddenly, she's involved in every aspect of your life. Maybe too involved. She begins questioning your friendships, controlling your free time, and imposing limits on what you enjoy. Why do you need to meet your friends? You're not getting any younger, you need rest, she might say. And before you know it, you're thinking, maybe she's right. But here's the thing. This isn't care, it's control. She may call it love, but it's slowly turning into a type of emotional manipulation where she seeks to dominate your life, your choices, and your freedom. I once knew a man, a widower, who met a woman 30 years younger than him. At first, he was flattered. She seemed to care deeply for him, took care of his needs, and made him feel valued. But within a year, he began to see the truth. She controlled everything, when he could go fishing with his friends, what he ate for dinner, and even criticized his lifelong hobby of coin collecting, calling it a waste of time. He became a prisoner in his own home, and his once vibrant, independent life shrank to the point of isolation. That's not the life any man wants, especially after 60. A man, regardless of his age, needs to be the master of his own life, and if a woman, no matter how well-intentioned she may seem, begins to strip away your freedom, it's time to step back and ask yourself, is this truly love? A healthy relationship should be built on mutual support, not domination. Buddhism teaches us that real love is rooted in respect for the other person's freedom. Think about it. Are you living with someone who claims to care for you but makes you feel like a prisoner under her rules? If you are, ask yourself if this is how you want to spend your golden years. Is it time to reclaim control over your happiness, or will you continue to live under someone else's thumb? Now, let's talk about another category of people you should stay away from. Those who have no respect for your time or boundaries. You know the type. People who think that your time is their time. You've probably encountered them. The ones who ask for favors and make demands because, well, they assume that since you're retired, you've got nothing but time on your hands. You don't have anything to do. You've got a pension now, so why not help me with this or that? You've heard it before, haven't you? These people think your time is an infinite resource that they can tap into at will. They expect you to say yes without question. But here's the harsh reality. After 60, your time is more precious than ever. It's the one thing you can never get back. You've worked all your life, raised children, cared for your family, and now it's time for you to live for yourself. But how can you do that if you're constantly being pulled into other people's dramas and demands? That's where boundaries come in. It's crucial to assert your right to privacy and personal space. Buddhists teach that inner peace and harmony come when we clearly understand where our boundaries lie. And those who don't respect your boundaries, who make you feel like you're constantly on call, are the people you need to distance yourself from. Even if they seem close or like they need you, you have every right to protect your peace and enjoy your time. You don't owe anyone endless favors, and you don't have to be at their beck and call 24/7. As men, especially as we grow older, we owe it to ourselves to nurture relationships that bring us joy, respect, and freedom. The reality is that life after 60 is a time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, to engage in hobbies, to reflect, and yes, to love and be loved in return. But only if the people you surround yourself with understand and honor your needs and boundaries. So, ask yourself, are the people in your life lifting you, or are they draining you? Are they giving you the space to be who you truly are, or are they holding you back from fully living? As you enter this stage of life, it's time to stop letting others control your narrative. It's your time now. Make it count. Have you ever had one of those days where you interact with certain people, only to feel completely drained by the end of it? It's as if all your energy was siphoned away, leaving you empty, exhausted, and unable to recognize the person you were before that encounter. You're left wondering how you managed to lose so much of yourself, even though the day seemed so ordinary. The truth is, this doesn't have to be your reality. You can protect your time, your energy, and your well-being if you learn to say no. I know, it's not always easy, especially when it's someone you love, someone who has come to rely on your support, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental. But here's the thing. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do, for both yourself and others, is to set boundaries. You need to honor your own needs, and while it might feel uncomfortable in the short term, it will ultimately give you the peace and freedom that you truly deserve. Think about your life right now. How often do you find yourself giving time and energy to things or people that don't bring you joy or fulfillment? How much of your life is spent in service to others, leaving little to no room for your own happiness and personal growth? Do you feel, deep down, like you're living on someone else's terms, constantly putting others' needs before your own, while your desires and dreams are put on the back burner? It's time to stand up for yourself. Time to say no when it's necessary. Time to say yes to your well-being. There is no shame in protecting your peace, and there is no reason you should feel guilty for choosing yourself. It's about finding that courage to live authentically, free from the expectations and demands of those who may not even realize they're draining you. Now, let's talk about another group of people. Those who, despite their good intentions, may not be the best for seniors to live with. These are the individuals who see aging as a death sentence, who constantly remind you that you're past your prime, that you should just slow down and accept that old age means sitting in a corner waiting for the inevitable. They try to push their fears and limitations on you, often saying things like, "At your age, it's time to take it easy," or "Why even bother doing that? You're not as young as you used to be." At first, they might seem concerned, but their words aren't helping. They're chipping away at your self-confidence, sowing seeds of doubt in your mind about your worth and your ability to live a full life. Honestly, it's heartbreaking to see so many people fall into this trap, especially when I've met seniors in their 70s or 80s who are still living vibrantly, still traveling, still learning, still dreaming. They're living proof that age is just a number, not a limitation. This is something I deeply believe. Age doesn't have to be a death sentence to your passions, your dreams, or your sense of self. As we age, we are given the precious gift of wisdom, the clarity to see what truly matters, and the freedom to live in a way that aligns with our deepest desires. We don't have to stop doing the things we love. We don't have to stop exploring the world, creating, learning, or growing. But there are always those around us who will try to convince us otherwise, pushing their fears onto us as though we should accept them as our own. They may say, "You shouldn't be traveling anymore," or "Starting a new project is too risky for you now." But what they fail to realize is that their limitations aren't yours, and their fears certainly don't need to become your reality. The most liberating thing you can do is to challenge those beliefs. There's a powerful teaching in Buddhism that says, we become what we constantly think about. If you constantly hear from others that aging is something to fear, then you run the risk of internalizing that fear, of letting it shape your view of yourself and your future. But here's the liberating truth. Once you surround yourself with people who see the beauty of life at every stage, and who encourage you to continue exploring, learning, and thriving, something incredible happens. You start to see the world differently. You start to believe in the possibility of a fulfilling, exciting life at any age. You begin to feel the freedom that comes from realizing that you don't have to follow the rules or beliefs of others, especially when those beliefs limit your potential. Think about this for a moment. Are there people in your life who constantly tell you what you can't do anymore? Do they remind you that you're too old for something, or try to tell you that your time has passed? And how do you feel when they do? Are you ready to step away from their influence and take charge of your own life? Are you ready to stop letting other people's fears dictate how you live, and start living authentically, on your terms? The time to reclaim your power and your joy is now. Don't let anyone, no matter how well-meaning, hold you back from living the fullest, most vibrant life you can. Let's delve into a deeply important and often overlooked topic. How many times have you heard those discouraging words? You're too old to start something new, or at your age, it's better not to take risks. The weight of such comments often feels even heavier when they come from the people closest to you. Family, friends, and even people who you'd never expect to impose these limiting ideas on you. And that's the thing, isn't it? You might hear these things not just from strangers or well-meaning acquaintances, but from people who should be lifting you, encouraging you to embrace life's endless possibilities. But instead, they unintentionally hold you back, often out of fear, ignorance, or a simple lack of understanding. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Those individuals who, despite their good intentions, try to convince you that you've reached a point where your potential has expired and that the best days are behind you. You might hear things like, "Come on, you're in your 60s. What's left for you to start now?" But let me tell you this, age is not a barrier unless you allow it to be. I've seen countless inspiring examples of people who embarked on new adventures, discovered new passions, and even launched entirely new careers well into their senior years. Take a moment to reflect on the fact that some of the world's greatest achievements were made by individuals in their later years. Think about Colonel Sanders, who founded KFC in his 60s, or Grandma Moses, who began her painting career in her 70s. These people didn't let age dictate their dreams, and neither should you. It's easy to dismiss age as an obstacle, and we're often made to feel that it's futile to try anything new once we reach a certain age. The sad truth is that some of the people around you, those who should be encouraging you, are the ones who try to impose their fears and insecurities onto you. You might hear phrases like, "Why bother learning something new? Are you planning to start a new career? You don't need to go to the gym anymore. What's the point of that?" It's heart-wrenching to hear this, but I want you to realize something. These people aren't trying to hurt you. They are simply projecting their fears. They think they're looking out for you, protecting you from disappointment, but in reality, they are robbing you of your power and your future. They think they're saving you from hardship, but they're building walls around your potential. Let's remember one fundamental truth. After 60, a whole new chapter of life begins. And this chapter can be filled with as much joy, adventure, and new experiences as any other time in your life. But it's up to you to claim that. Buddhist teachings remind us that we should not hold on too tightly to the past or fear the future. The key to peace and fulfillment is embracing the present moment. And that's something we all deserve to do, no matter how old we are. Yet, so often, we let thoughts of what we can no longer do take away from what we can still achieve. It's time to free ourselves from that mindset. I know so many people who, after retiring, uncovered hidden talents they never knew existed. Some of them found joy in painting, some started a new sport, while others took a leap of faith and started their own business. These individuals are a living testament to the fact that life after 60 is not the end. It's just the beginning of something extraordinary. Every time I meet someone who has discovered a new passion later in life, I am inspired not only by them but by the way they light up the world around them. They're showing us that age is not a sentence. It's a chance for reinvention. Don't let anyone, no matter how well-meaning, tell you that your opportunities are limited by your age. That's simply not true. The only limits are the ones you put on yourself. And if someone doesn't believe in you, that's their problem, not yours. Their doubts have no place in your journey. So let me ask you, who in your life is encouraging you to believe that it's too late to start something new? Are you ready to rise above those discouraging words, ignore the doubts that others might have about your potential, and finally take the leap into doing what you've always wanted to do? Because, truthfully, it's never too late to start living your best life. Never. Here's the real, unvarnished truth. Once you reach 60, you owe nothing to anyone. That's right, you owe no one an explanation, no one an apology, and certainly no one your time or energy if it doesn't align with your desires. You've spent years raising children, building careers, supporting family and friends, and yes, even putting others' needs before your own. But now, it's your time. Now is the moment when you should finally start living for yourself. And if anyone, whether it's family, friends, or even well-meaning acquaintances, tries to make you feel selfish for taking that time, I want you to remember this. You are not selfish for wanting to live for your joy and fulfillment. Far too often, we've been made to feel like it's our responsibility to put others' needs above our own, especially as we grow older. But who decided that? Why should you be expected to keep sacrificing your dreams, passions, and needs simply because of your age? When people start questioning you, saying things like, "How can you go on vacation when we're all struggling here?" Or "Why won't you help your grandchildren more?" Just remember, your life is your own. No one has the right to make you feel guilty for living it the way you want. Of course, you love your family, and yes, you want to help your loved ones. But that doesn't mean you have to give up your freedom, your own time, or your dreams. Life doesn't end at 60. It's only just beginning, and you deserve to embrace every single moment of it with joy, without guilt, and the weight of anyone else's expectations. So, as you move forward into this exciting new phase of life, I urge you to reject the narrative that you're too old to change, grow, or explore. Embrace the boundless possibilities that await you. Age is not a limitation. It's a gift. And the sooner we stop letting others project their fears onto us, the sooner we can live the life we truly deserve. Live it for yourself, because no one else can live it for you. Buddhism imparts a powerful, life-changing lesson that we often overlook. You cannot truly help others if you are sacrificing your well-being in the process. How many times have you fallen into this trap, driven by feelings of guilt or a sense of duty? How often have you pushed your own needs to the side, telling yourself that helping others is more important? But here's a thought that may shake you. If you don't start living for yourself now, when will you? After the age of 60, life has the potential to be fulfilling, adventurous, and deeply rewarding, but only if you allow yourself that permission. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly put yourself first, instead of putting your desires on hold to fulfill someone else's needs? How often have you told yourself, "I deserve a break, a vacation, a moment to breathe," only to push it aside with the excuse, "But not now, later"? The harsh truth is, later may never come. If you don't start honoring your time, someone else will gladly take it from you. And what will be left for you? A deep, aching feeling that life has slipped away, unnoticed, as you've lived it on everyone else's terms but your own. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Now, take a deep, hard look at your life. How many times in the past few years have you lived for others instead of yourself? And more importantly, are you finally ready to take the most shocking and liberating step you've been avoiding for so long, to start living for you? If not now, when? When will you stop waiting for the perfect moment that may never come? The truth is, once we hit 60, we are faced with an undeniable choice. We can either continue to bend and twist ourselves to meet the expectations and demands of others, or we can finally take back control and live life on our terms. Yes, this choice might make others uncomfortable, but let me tell you, it will set you free. Here's the part that most people won't tell you. No one is going to show up and permit you to start living for yourself. Instead, there will always be someone who will insist that you still have to make sacrifices, that you need to put others first, and that it's selfish to think about your happiness at this stage of life. But let me be clear. This is your time. Your moment to finally live the years you've worked so hard to get to, the way you want to. You've earned it, every single moment of it. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, Buddhism teaches that each of us is responsible for our happiness. Nobody else can carry that weight for us. And you know what? That's something to be deeply grateful for, because it means you have the power to decide how you want to live your life. Do you want to go on that trip you've been dreaming about? Do it. Want to start a new hobby, pick up that old passion you've forgotten about, or immerse yourself in something new? Do it. Study, run, dance, fall in love, experience life. Whatever it is, you're welcome to it. The world is wide open, waiting for you to grab it. If someone doesn't understand that or tries to hold you back from embracing your freedom, that's their issue, not yours. People will always find excuses for their limitations, and they'll try to convince you to live by their fears and rules. But why should you live by their limitations? Why should you keep sacrificing your joy and freedom when you've already given so much to others? Why not permit yourself to live freely, without guilt, without hesitation. You deserve it more than anyone. Don't let another moment slip by. This is your time. Embrace it fully. As we wrap up, I want you to take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed today. What have you learned so far about living for yourself, taking control of your life, and letting go of guilt and expectations from others? Think about it. What is one thing you've learned today that you will bring into practice in your own life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comment below and let us know how you're going to start living more freely and authentically. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to our channel so you can stay connected with more content that helps you live your best life. Remember, this is your time. Make the most of it. Thank you for watching.